This morning, we have started the cross-examination of the respondents and their witnesses. We started with the Honorable Nalukoola and then went into one of his witnesses. We shall handle more this afternoon. From our assessment, the witnesses, Nalukoola himself and his witnesses, have been torn apart. Nalukoola's theory has been about a lot of guesswork, a lot of probabilities, conjecture, patterns, trajectories. We feel that we have convinced the court that that's not the way to determine an electoral victory. An electoral victory is determined by certainty of numbers. And that is our theme in this election petition. We are convincing the court that if you do not have numbers, then you do not know the result of the election. And because the numbers which we do not know are great, the election result was substantially affected. From our examination this morning, we are convinced that all the kind of theories that Nalukoola was building around his election, and the reason why we don't have the choices of the 16,640 voters, that all those theories, all those suggestions, all those trajectories, all those patterns have been thrown apart. Now, as to his witness, who was denouncing and denying bribery allegations, our scheme was also to tear her apart. And we have completely, in our view, destroyed her narrative. Her narrative was, I was doing these things, I didn't bribe. I was doing these things before, during, and after the election. We were able to demonstrate to the court that those photos that she was using to create that narrative were superficious. We don't know where she got them from. She cannot tell how she printed them. She cannot tell how they got onto the affidavit, etc., etc. So our job was to destroy that narrative and place her at the scene of the crime during the campaign when she bribed the 4 ladies that she agrees she bribed, or that she has agreed in court that she gave things during the campaign for the Kawempe North by-election.
The rest of the work will be done by court. We are going into the final session to agree with the court on how we are going to treat this. But without us, the lawyers, having to speak so much, we had the Nabakoza, the witness in court. Unlike the other one, for her, she had her phone. She would account for all the photos, even the only 2 photos that had been taken from Facebook. They are the ones that didn't have a timestamp. And you'd see the lawyer trying to waste a lot of time on all the photos and ignore the 4 important photos, which we think it was a form of accountability to the client, that I asked so many questions for so many minutes, but we believe our case has not been disintegrated. So we hope and are very confident that court will be in position to do what it has to do. And you, as the people, because this has been a political case, and lucky enough, for the first time, we've had every Ugandan following. So the court and us, the lawyers, the results will come at the right time. But you, as the public, you can also judge for yourselves.
That's the narrative that we have broken. That narrative was built around photos. And that's why I attacked those photos again and again, to break that narrative. And we are convinced that we've broken it. We've broken the chain of those photos. You had her say that she did not print them. In the affidavit, she says she printed them. You had her say that she sent them to the lawyer. In the affidavit, says something else. You had her say in the affidavit that I took them with Galaxy S23. Then in court says I got them from Facebook. That narrative is destroyed. So she can no longer rely on those photos to tell us that lie. It's broken completely, and that's what we're doing.
First of all, when you report a case, it is always very, very beautiful that the narrative of what you reported comes out in court. And I've seen that has already been achieved, even with the first respondent. That is why the lawyer is telling you there was no now need for the second respondent, who is Electoral Commission, to be cross-examined by the lawyer. So that has so far been achieved, and it has been gone on record of the court. We are very hopeful that the court, with what has been said by me, Honorable Elias Nalukoola, the first respondent, and which has not been refuted by the second respondent, will really prevail at the end of the day. We shall be able to get our prayers, as you saw in my petition.
Thank God that you have had the occasion of listening to the testimonies of Nambi, the petitioner. You have as well heard from our witnesses. And indeed, one can tell comfortably, without fear of contradiction, that indeed Nambi has failed miserably to make her case. The onus is not on us to prove the allegations or claims set out in the petition. He who alleges must prove. It's Nambi to prove. Like I have already alluded that there is a certain public speaker who stated that it is easy to steal a drum, but where will you drum it from? Nambi is laboring and futility to prove that indeed she would win. You know, she's just a wishful thinker. She wishes that she could become a member of parliament representing Kawempe North, which could not happen. She should just sit down and strategize. She can even go to any other constituency where she may be popular. But here she has failed miserably. I pray that you live longer. I pray that the judge will have the opportunity to analyze, examine what we have already put on record from our side. I think you have seen how our lawyers have failed to cross-examine me where they wanted us to prove their case. But it is not us. We are going back for the last session, and I pray that you'll be around. And again, I pray that God makes us live longer and witness the outcome of this petition. Lastly, abantu b'ensi eno mwenna bannange, mbasaba mutusonyiwe bwe wabaawo gwe tusobezza. Omanyi mu mbeera eno ey'okukontana n'okugugulana tebubulamu, olumu onyiiga, olumu n'oyogera ebinyiizaamu munno. Naye bambi mutusonyiwe, tebiba bigenderere. I would wish to apologize in case of anything that may have arisen in the course of this adversarial process. Sincerely, it was not intended. If any person was annoyed in any way, kindly find a place in your heart and forgive us in case of anything that went wrong. I thank you.